Well, hey YouTube, it's Elvis Ammo here. Hey, today I want to talk about mold obstructions. You know, the kind of mold obstructions in a mold like this where the mold won't close all the way. And believe it or not, there's some of us that are casting with these molds and they don't even realize that there's an obstruction in the mold of some sort. Now, you know, the easiest way for us to tell if there's an obstruction in our mold is to put this mold up in front of the light and look down through the holes in the mold. Now you can just look at the light on the ceiling, for instance, or you can, you know, use a flashlight of some sort like this, and you can look through the mold that way. And you know, I hate to say that you shouldn't be able to see no light at all, because I've had molds, you know, you can see, you know, just a crack of light. But if you do see a crack of light, and I'm talking a smidgen, it should be consistent all the way down the mold, all the way, not just high on one side and low on the other kind of thing. So I don't want to say that, but typically you shouldn't be able to see light through your mold at all. So with that said, if you guys enjoy these videos, give me a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe. If you've been watching these videos and you look over there and realize, wow, I'm not even subscribed. Happens to me. So anyway, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, the several different ways actually of cleaning these molds up. And one of the problems that we have is obstructions that lift these molds up. And the easy way, well, there's a few different ways. For the most part, what I'll do is I'll just cut a piece of wood. It doesn't matter whether it's a block of wood like this, and you know, you want to just take your knife and just slice a piece of it, you know, like this, or a piece of plywood like this, and that's what I did here. And I just split a piece of plywood off of another piece, and I want this. What I want is this flat end right here, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll also make sure that the piece that I slice off is wide enough for the caliber that I'm working on, to where I can just sharpen the tip up like this, like that, and that way I can use that sharp piece of wood if I have obstructions or burrs or something right here. I can just stick it in the mold and just make sure, you know, I keep these things tightly closed when I do this, and I'll just make sure each cavity don't have any obstructions. Now what we don't want to ever do is we don't want to dull this edge at all, and that's why I always use wood, with some limited exceptions. So what we have here is, you can see now, this is a terrible example of how to treat a mold. Alright, now every once in a while I do a thing called fast cast or fast casting. That's where you round up all the knuckleheads you can find to cast a bunch of bullets. And that was the example of this mold. This was one of my good molds that I let somebody use to help me cast, and they were fast casting, except for they didn't know what they were doing, but God bless them. And what happens is, You know, if you don't hold that mold closed tightly, for instance, then things build up in here. Now, one of the benefits you have of watching this channel here today is we have some viewers and subscribers on this channel that are very knowledgeable. And a lot of guys that come to this channel, they are constantly scrolling through the comment section because they learn so much in the comment section, just like I do. So that could be something that you do here in this video, and listen to what other people use as examples of how they clean their molds and keep obstructions out. So the best way to do it is, you got this flat piece of wood. Use wood because it's not going to mess your mold up no matter what you do. You're not going to hurt it, I promise. And you just use this. I have all of these, I have some of these marks on here are just stains, and that's it. But what you do is you just run your finger across here, and you can feel where there's a hill or a bump anywhere, and you just take your stick and you just smooth it out just like that until you don't feel it anymore with your finger. Alright, just like that. You can go in just like that, and sometimes you'll find that if there's a tiny obstruction and you can't hardly find it, then you can just do this all over your mold, and you'll find that, darn, that thing is starting to close all of a sudden. And what you'll get is you'll get more consistent bullets as you cast. And it's just as simple as that. With each one, you go over it. Now, you may have already seen it already if you're watching closely here, but some of the problems that you see with this mold are irreversible in some ways. It's just, there's a lot of damage been done to it, and this is an example of that right here. This is where the pins wasn't lined up when the mold was opening and closing, and it probably had obstructions in it, and it done some damage to the alignment hole for the pin. Alright, now this is the reason I'm doing this video, is because I decided I would fix this real quick. Well, it wasn't real quick, but it was quick enough. And this procedure that I'm going to show you right now is, I'd say, more advanced. I wouldn't even expect just anybody to do this. But if the mold is terrible and you can't, and it's not going to cast correctly, then you can't lose, right? Now with this right here, what I've done is, there was a nice little hill right here around this section, and I can feel it right now, and it's fixed. So what I done was, I used a metal file. Now I almost never would recommend anybody to ever do this to their mold, but this one was either fix it or throw it away. That's where we were, okay? So what I done with this one is, I laid it as flat as I possibly could with using this corner right here, this edge, cornered edge, and I pulled it back and forth as low as I could without touching the mold here. Just laid it as low profile as I could, like that, and I run it across there, and then, you know, you'll get some burrs built up, and you know, you can just blow that out of there as you're going, and then you check it, and you look and see if you can see light through it. And believe it or not, I was surprised, but I actually got it without messing up all of this venting and all this. That's the kind of thing you don't want to mess up. All these little lines that you see is venting for gases and air, so that you have a good fill out in your mold. So the other thing that you can do is, for instance, if you have some lead built up and it's inside of these little lines, these machined lines here, these vents, then you can use the corner and try to run that line down the corner of your piece of wood, and that wood will conform very nicely inside those lines. And if it still won't come out, then you can hit it with a torch. Just make sure you're wearing gloves because things are going to get hot quick. You can heat that lead up and try to wipe it out with a rag if you can, or heat it up and then scrub it out with your maybe your flat side of your piece of wood. And it don't hurt to do these to our molds sometimes anyway, when you find a buildup of anything on there. And you just scrub them out like this, and that's all there is to it, guys. And that's all I got for you today. Hopefully this helped some of you guys. I know that I've been asked to do this kind of video many times, and yeah, there's a good bit to it, and some experience that goes with it. So that's all I got for you today. I'll see you in the next video.